Hi, welcome to our virtual rundown of back to school night for second grade dual immersion. Unfortunately, Mrs. Nilsson is a little bit camera shy, so you're stuck with just me today, but I will do my best to explain both sides as clearly and concisely as I can. If you still have questions after watching this, please bring them to our in-person sessions on Thursday, or if you can't attend those, email us. We will always do our best to answer those emails as quickly as possible. Sometimes it will take us up to 24 hours. When you're emailing, please make sure you email both of us for anything, no matter what it is. Make sure you are emailing both of us so we can both stay in the loop. Alright, I'm going to try to keep this video as concise as I possibly can. I'll go pretty quickly through everything. I want to talk mostly about the big items that I know most parents have questions about that we always get asked. And the biggest one is always homework. We haven't started any homework yet, but it will pick up next week. Next week, your child will come home with a red homework folder. I wish I had one to show you, but unfortunately I don't have one on me right now. In that red homework folder, there will be a square piece of paper with a QR code. That is your child's Clever login. Clever is a website that we use that holds your child's password for all of the other apps that we use. Most of our homework this year will be digital and will be done through those apps, so they will need that login card. We're going to ask that you keep that login card in their homework folder so you always know where it's at. On the back of that login card will also include their Google login information if we ever need to use Google Classroom, and we'll talk about that a little bit later too. So again, homework is mostly digital this year. I'm going to start with homework that is required on Mrs. Nilsson's side. So the first one that we need to do for Mrs. Nilsson's side is the app iReady. Again, that can be accessed through Clever, and I'll go through that as well. iReady is our math curriculum, and you will need to work on that with your child 15 minutes each day. Now, we have a lot of apps that we are requiring 15 minutes each day for. When I say that, please know that I just need an hour each week. So ideally, it would be 15 minutes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to get that hour. But we know life doesn't always work perfectly like that. So if you need to do 30 minutes on Monday and no minutes on Tuesday and 15 minutes on Thursday and another 15 minutes on Saturday, that's fine. We just want to make sure we've got that 60 minutes each week. Again, iReady, they'll be working on math. The iReady app splits math concepts into lessons. Those lessons will probably take your child a couple of days to get through. So if your child is working and their 15 minutes is up, don't feel like you have to stay on until they finish the lesson. You are totally fine to log out. iReady will save their spot, and they will jump right back there next time they log in. The second app for Spanish is called iExcel. iExcel is where we're going to practice Spanish. When you click on the iExcel app, it has lots of different subjects. I think you can choose from science and math and English reading. Make sure you click on Spanish. Underneath Spanish, there will be a series of lessons. Mrs. Nilsson does not assign specific lessons each week. So your child will be able to pick what lesson they work on each day, and they can pick whichever of those Spanish lessons they would like to. Make sure you're doing at least an hour of that every week, 15 minutes a day, or whatever you need to do to get an hour in the week. I also want to talk briefly about Raz Kids. Those of you that have done dual immersion before are probably familiar with Raz Kids. We will have Raz Kids this year, and we will be doing it online. Your assignment, your homework for Raz Kids is to have your child read one book in Spanish every day. For each book on Raz Kids, they also have a comprehension quiz that tests how well they're understanding what they're reading. So you will need to do one book and complete the quiz for that book. You only have to do one a day, so that one shouldn't take too long. If for some reason you can't get signed on to Raz Kids, or you would like to have an option to not do online on that one, we can send physical hard copy books home. but we'd prefer online where possible. The last piece for Mrs. Nilsson's side for Spanish homework is the Spanish spelling words. In dual immersion, if you didn't know already, I'm sure you know by now, we move very, very fast. We move a lot more quickly than the regular second grade classes because we have more content to cover. Because we're moving so quickly, we will have new spelling words in both English and Spanish every single week. We will practice and work on those words in class, but it's also important that you give your kids that extra practice at home. For those of you that do not speak Spanish, Mrs. Nilsson makes a video each week of her saying the Spanish words. So you can have your child watch that, or you can watch it and learn to say it so that you can help them review. That can be accessed on Google Classroom, and I'll show you how to get there when we talk about Google Classroom. And I always send them with our newsletter as well. Make sure, it is so important that you practice those words at home with your child. Please make sure you are doing that. I'm going to jump to my side now, the English side. So just like Spanish, we will have spelling words each week. Please, please, please make sure you are practicing those words with your child. Again, we'll practice in class, but they need that extra practice at home. There is only one app that I require for homework, and that is Lexia. If you were here with us last year, you should be a little bit familiar with Lexia, hopefully. So just like with iExcel and iReady, I require an hour a week of Lexia, or 15 minutes, Monday through Thursday. Just like iReady, if you're not completely finished with a Lexia lesson or item, you can log off and it will put your child right back where they were. Mrs. Nilsson does show and tell. She does show and tell every single Tuesday. Kids love it. They're always so excited for it. The past couple of weeks, show and tell has been open to anyone who wants to bring something. Starting the week after Labor Day, Mrs. Nilsson will only let kids who have completed all of their iReady and iExcel minutes participate in show and tell. So please make sure that you are keeping up on it. On my side for Lexia, I give treats to my kids that finish all of their Lexia minutes for the week. And if I ever have a week where everyone gets their Lexia minutes finished, I'll get the whole class a treat. So please make sure that you are staying on top of those two things. My next item I want to talk about is not actually a homework item. I don't have anything for you to fill out or record, but it is very, very important to me. Please, please make sure that you are reading with your child in English every day. My first couple of years, I used to send out reading logs. And I required parents to fill in how many minutes their child was reading every day, and they had to initial it. And I know that got kind of difficult. And it was hard, papers got lost in the shuffle, and then kids were upset when they got lost. So this year, I am not requiring any proof of that. I'm not requiring you to sign off on reading. But it is so, so important to me that you read with your kids at home. Studies have shown that the #1 indicator of child success in reading is reading with their parents. I don't care how long you read. I would love it if it were 15 minutes, but whatever you can do. If it's 5 minutes to read a picture book, that's great. That small act of you reading with your child at home, even for just 5 minutes, will do more for your child's reading ability than anything that I do in class. So it is very, very important. Please, please make sure that you are reading with your child at home. And I have just one last piece of homework to talk about, but this one's really easy, so no worries. Every week, starting next week, your child will be sent home a Fluency Page, is what these are called. So these are short stories. They're all different lengths. This one's a bit longer, but this one's pretty short. Your job is to have your child read this 5 different times throughout the week. Now, we prefer it if it's spread out a little bit, so 5 days, but if you have to read it twice on one day or 3 times on one day, that's fine, we understand. The goal with this is to see how many words your child is reading correct per minute. So what you're going to do is you are going to have your child read this, and you're going to time them for just 1 minute. As they're reading it, you'll make note of any mistakes that they make. When they're done, you'll use our numbers on the side. Those tell us how many words are in each line. You'll use those numbers to help figure out wherever they stopped, how many words they read. Then you'll subtract any mistakes that they made to get their total number of words correct per minute. So there's a spot in the box for you to fill in how many words correct per minute they got each day. Another second grade teacher, Mrs. Warren, has made a video showing how to do that, where she does an example one. And I think she did a really good job explaining it. So when I send this video out, I will attach that video to the email so you can look at that. That is really important in my class. I believe very strongly in what I call progress trackers. I think it's very important for students to know where they're at, where they're headed, and where they want to go. I think a child needs to be able to see their progress in order to keep making progress. So in my classroom, we use what I call progress trackers, so that students can see if they're getting better or worse, or if they're staying the same on any given subject. One of those trackers will be for their fluency pages. So each week, they will fill in how many words correct they got per minute for each week. And then we'll be able to start seeing patterns. Are they getting steadily better? Are they getting steadily worse? Are they staying the same? I find that this is a really good motivator for kids to do well, and I love having these. So those fluency trackers, or those fluency pages, will be sent home every single Monday. Every Monday, your child will receive one of these. It will be due the following Monday. When they come in, before they turn it into me, they will use it to fill in their tracker. This will help me see patterns, and it will help them see patterns too. And I think that's very important, especially for kids this young, to be able to see where they're at and where they're going. We will use similar trackers for spelling tests and some of our other assessments throughout the year as well. So please, please, please make sure you are turning those in. All right, I think that just about does it for homework. I know that's a lot, and believe it or not, I don't actually like homework. We do have to do it in the dual immersion program because we move so quickly, but we are trying to do as much as we can in class to make it easier for you to do those things that we are asking you to do. One thing that we've done to make it easier for you is math homework. Our math curriculum includes homework pages that are supposed to be sent home every day for every lesson. But we have decided to do those in class to hopefully give you more time and freedom to work on those other items. And again, we'll talk about how to get into Clever and into Google Classroom at the end. I'm going to jump on my computer and show you on my screen so you can see it. For right now, I also want to talk just a little bit about volunteer opportunities. I know that's a big one too. For things like parties or field trips, we will use the website Sign Up Genius for parent volunteers for those. At Back to School Night, we will have a paper with a sign-up sheet for room parents. We love to have a couple of room parents each year that are in charge of organizing parties and helping us find volunteers for field trips. They're in charge of decorating our doors or helping organize other volunteers when we need them. If you are interested in being a room parent, please, please, please fill out your information on that sign up on Thursday. Or if you can't make it, please send us an email and let us know, and we'll figure out a couple of room parents for each class. We will also have sign-ups on Thursday for helpers in Mrs. Nilsson's class. Mrs. Nilsson loves to have parent volunteers come in and read with her kids in Spanish. So if you are able and willing to read with children in Spanish, whether it's once a week or maybe every other week or once a month, whatever you can do, please let us know. Sign up if you are here on Thursday. If not, please send us an email and let us know, because we are always looking for Spanish-speaking parents that can help our kids read in Spanish. All right, I think I covered just about everything we need to. As far as our classroom management goes, Mrs. Nilsson and I both are fans of positive reinforcement. I have got little individual point cards on all my students' desks. I've covered the name on this one, where they will receive a mark or a point when they are following rules, when they are focused, when they're doing what they should be doing. When they fill those out, they get to pick a prize. So I might be bringing a stuffed animal buddy from home, or I have a yoga ball chair that they can sit in, or they can pick a prize from my prize box. They've got a couple of different options. And I have whole class rewards as well. I know Mrs. Nilsson operates on a similar system in her class. We like to focus on the good rather than the bad. As far as the bad goes, Mrs. Nilsson and I both operate on a 3-strike policy. So that means we will give your child 2 warnings before they get a 3rd strike, where they will lose privileges, or maybe move seats, or face some kind of consequence. If that becomes a repeated pattern, if they get 3 strikes twice in one day, that's when we'll start moving into sending you emails or giving you a phone call. If it's more than that, that's when we'll move up to administration. But we always try to go through you first. So we will always try to talk to you about any issues we're having first before we have to send it to administration, unless it's something super crazy, but I don't think we'll have to worry about that this year. All right, I think that's about all that we wanted to cover at Back to School Night. Again, if you have questions, let us know. Right now, as far as COVID concerns, right now we are not requiring masks. However, that is subject to change at any given time. If we have any type of exposure in classrooms, we will need to wear masks for 10 days. But as of right now, in general, students are not required to wear masks. Again, that might change. Those COVID guidelines are changing daily, so we'll have to kind of keep on top of it. If you have to quarantine for whatever reason, you will want to be working on Google Classroom. I sent out everyone's Google log on information last week, so you should have access to that. Please get signed on, even if your child is not going to be absent, just so you can get familiar with it. And again, I'll go over that in just a minute here. We want to make sure that we understand Google Classroom and Cami and all of the crazy things with it, just in case anything happens this year. We're not anticipating it, but we want to make sure that we are all prepared for it. All right, I'm going to jump on my computer screen and I'm going to go through Google Classroom for you really quickly. And then if you have any questions, please, please, please send us an email. We are happy to help any way we can. Thank you, guys. Okay, I am going to quickly go through our Google Classroom and explain how that's going to work. I will also go through Clever quickly for you and show you what that will look like when you get signed in with your child's info. Now, the most important thing for Google Classroom is to make sure you have the Cami app. Cami is what lets you edit PDFs and turn them in as assignments. So if you do not have the Cami app installed, the quickest way is just to look up Cami. I'm going to look up for Chrome. Cami tends to work best with Chrome, and Google Classroom works best with Chrome as well. So mine's already downloaded, so it won't give me the option to download. But right there you can click download, and it should download it to your Chrome. So you can see it right there for me. Now this year, I had to uninstall my Cami app and reinstall it because Cami made a lot of changes. They had a lot of updates, and my computer was having a hard time running all of those updates. So I found it was better for me to remove it from my computer and then reinstall it. So if you are having any issues with Cami, if you've already had it installed, uninstall it and then reinstall it. Or run any updates and see if that works. If not, let us know and we'll see what else we can figure out. All right, so Google Classroom. The first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you are signed on to your child's Google account. So to change what account you're signed in on, you'll click on that little circle at the top of Chrome, and it will give you the option to sign in on another account. Make sure you are on your child's account. Once you are on your child's account, you can either go to Classroom classwork.google.com, or you can click on the waffle icon here and click on Classroom. I will have 2 different classes, my 2 second grade classes that I teach. Your child, there should only be one, whether they're in the green class or the blue class. So we'll click on the blue class today. When you click on that class, actually let's go back. We have invited all of our students to the classroom, so you should not have to enter a code. There should just be a little button down here somewhere that says accept. When you click on that, it should take you right into the classroom, and then you won't ever have to do that again. You will always have the option to click on it. The most important tab on Google Classroom will be the Classwork tab. So Mrs. Nilsson and I have decided, starting now, we are going to post every lesson or assignment that we teach each day on Google Classroom as well. If your child is present for that day, if they're attending school in person, they won't have to do anything with those Google Classroom assignments. However, if your child misses a day, we are going to have you get onto Google Classroom and have them complete the assignments that they missed for that day. I don't have a lot of assignments up now because we just started, we've just made that decision and just started posting assignments for all students. Our assignments are set into 4 different categories or 4 different subjects. We've got Spanish, skills. Our English language arts is separated into 2 different, they call them strands. So skills is English language arts, and so is knowledge. So every day there will be, or every week there will be 1 Spanish assignment. So that's where we can find Mrs. Nilsson's video where she goes over the Spanish words. When you click on it, it should pull it up in a separate tab, and you should be able to watch and listen to her say those words. There's nothing you have to physically hand in with Spanish. Just make sure you're reviewing those with your child every day. And then skills, if your child is absent for a day, whatever they missed in skills will be under skills. They will have 1 every day under skills, 1 every day under knowledge, and 1 every day under math. Unless we are testing or doing something different that day, there will be 1 of those 3 assignments every day. Again, if your child is attending in person, you do not have to do anything with Google Classroom. But if they're absent, we would love for you to get on and do the assignments from that day on Google Classroom. Now it gets kind of confusing. There's a lot of assignments there. So we use our due dates to help you understand what assignment was done on what day. So the assignment will always be due the day that it was done in class. So this one, Paul Bunyan, was due on August 19th because we had that lesson on August 19th. We had Pecos Phil yesterday, so that was due yesterday. John Henry is who we learned about today, so that one is due today. Now, if you are going back to make up assignments that were missed, or you're quarantining, or whatever your situation is, those due dates are not hard, fast rules. So you do not have to have them done by that due date. Again, we put the due dates there to help you keep track of what assignment was done on what day. But you do not have to have them completed by that date. You can always, and Google Classroom will tell you it's late. Do not worry about that. You can always turn them in later than that given due date. All right, mostly you will just be working under this Classwork tab. Our stream will show the assignments that we post as well, but I find it's usually easier, nicer to look at and less confusing to look at to just go to the Classwork page. With those assignments, we'll use knowledge because it's usually pretty straightforward. There is usually some sort of activity that your child will need to do. This is where Cami comes in. So I will give instructions in that video, and then they will need to follow my instructions on the PDF that's attached. When you click on that, mine has it up right here because I use it frequently, but yours you'll probably have to click Open With, and then you'll click on Annotate with Cami. And we'll think for just a minute while it pulls that up inside of Cami. There we go. Once it's open in Cami, your child will be able to edit it. So for this assignment, they had to fill in this chart with facts about John Henry. And there's a lot of different tools on Cami, but the ones you're going to use most often are the text box, which will let you, there we go. Put a text box up and type in it. Or the drawing tool. This one's kind of hard because they do have to press the mouse down in order to draw. And you can always change the color. And the eraser, which will undo anything. So the text box and the drawing are the ones we find are used most often. Every once in a while you might use shapes if your child is making a drawing or a chart of some type. Oof, sorry. When they are done, there will be an option. Mine doesn't show it because I'm the teacher for this class, but there will be an option up here to turn in. So you will need to turn it in using the Cami app, and then I will be able to see it on my end. With these videos, our second grade team is amazing, and we love working as a team. So we had each second grade teacher make videos for different subjects. So if you're doing online work, all of the lessons will not be taught by myself and Mrs. Nilsson. Some of them will be taught by Mrs. Y. Gardner, and some of them will be taught by Mrs. Warren, 2 other second grade teachers at our school. But either way, there should be very explicit and clear instructions in them, and it should be pretty straightforward to follow. If you do have questions about that, please do not hesitate to let us know. And then lastly, Clever. So when you get signed on to Clever, you will have a page that looks like this. We have moved, I believe in all of our students, we have moved those apps that we use most up at the top. So here we have Lexia. When you click on that, it will take you right into your child's Lexia. You will not have to enter another password. Same thing with IXL. It will take you right to the IXL homepage. You will not have to enter another password. Mine are obviously going to look much different than yours because I am a teacher. Your homepage will look a lot different. And then, of course, iReady. This is where you will go to access all 3 of those apps. Remember, we need 15 minutes each day on these 3 apps, or at least an hour a week. All right, I think that just about covers it. Again, let us know if you have any questions, and we hope to see you soon.